Every man thinks he knows what he'll do when he gets into a fight until it actually happens. And sometimes that decision, that one punch, doesn't end it. It begins a nightmare. This is a story that you need to hear because it could be you, and it happens every town and every city around the world. So keep watching. He was 22, confident and well-trained, boxed a bit, went to the gym 3 times a week. He wasn't looking for trouble, but then he wasn't backing down from it either. One night, outside of a bar, some guy bumps into his friend. Words were exchanged, egos flared. He steps in to defend his mate. The other guy postures up. It's tense, and then he throws a punch, and it lands clean. Drops the guy cold. He feels that adrenaline spike, that rush of pride. For a second, he thinks it's over. He thinks he's won, but that's not how the real world works. It's a grey area punching someone first. There's always a problem that if you hit someone first, you're going to escalate the situation. But quite frankly, there will be times when it's necessary to go first. The consequences. Within minutes, it's not just the bouncers that's separating the crowd, it's the police. Turns out that the guy that got dropped hit his head on the pavement. He's unconscious and bleeding. The ambulance takes him away, but he doesn't wake up for 2 days. Now the 22-year-old, he's not heading home. He's in handcuffs in the back of a police car, charged with grievous bodily harm. He's facing actual prison time. And here's the kicker. That guy he hit, well, he started it, but that doesn't matter now. You see, the legal system doesn't care who started it. In court, it wasn't about who was right. It was about what was proportionate, what was reasonable force. Now, from a legal consequence, there is a difference between assault and battery. Assault is where you feel a credible threat against you, an imminent threat against you. Battery is where they physically carry out that threat, where they actually land a punch or harm you in some physical way. So you could say assault is the intention and battery is the act. And because he threw the first punch, because he didn't try to walk away, he was treated as the aggressor. He ended up with a conviction, lost his job, couldn't travel to the US for work, all because of one moment where he thought he was defending himself. But the law and the reality didn't see it that way. Now, in most legal jurisdictions around the world, it is perfectly reasonable and sound to defend yourself if you feel you're being assaulted. Of course, it comes with a caveat. That is, your response has to be proportional to the threat that you're dealing with. In other words, it shouldn't be excessive. That's not just the problem. It's the emotional fallout that counts. But it wasn't just legal. It was emotional. He lost confidence, felt shame, didn't trust his instincts anymore. He started questioning himself. What was I trying to prove? Was it worth it? Why did I care what some drunk stranger said? And the answer, deep down, was ego. That quiet little voice that says, you can't back down. You have to show him. But that voice doesn't live with the consequences. You do. So what's the takeaway? You can hit first, but there are a lot of legal, ethical, and moral considerations to take on board. It's not an easy decision to make, but at the end of the day, you risk your own life if you allow someone to hit you first and you get it wrong. The problem is knowing when to go first and also being able to justify it legally. There are a lot of complex variables that you have to take into account. Your age versus your attacker's age. The environment is another factor. Lighting, location, objects around you that may affect your personal safety. Maybe someone's picking a fight on you in a minefield, for example. Crazy as it sounds. Even your ability to retreat is a variable that you have to consider when punching someone first. If you can't retreat and you are in clear and imminent danger, then under any self-defense jurisdiction, well, try saying that a few times after a few drinks, you are provided the ability to defend yourself. So in some cases, it may be legally justifiable to punch first when there's a clear and imminent danger. There's no means to escape, and there's previous aggressive actions. And don't forget the disparity of force. And that's a critical factor as well to consider, because you may have a difference in age, size, and ability. And these are all factors that you have to take into account when defending yourself. So where should you punch? Well, this is always a tough one. You can hunt and hope and hit for the head. The problem is if you land incorrectly, you're going to cripple your hands and you've already engaged a confrontation. And of course it's going to escalate. And if there weren't weapons involved at that point, there will be now. You have to take a critical judgment on where you strike. I always say hit soft targets with hard weapons. Hard weapons, obviously your knuckles, but it can be the edges of your hands, elbows, even your head. But whatever it is, it has to be a soft target. Throat, nose, ideal places to strike, solar plexus, liver, liver, anywhere that's relatively soft to strike with a hard weapon is going to be much more effective than just throwing a punch, hunting and hoping, because if you get this wrong, your confrontation is going to escalate tenfold. Every man thinks that a fight will end in glory, but most of the time it ends in regret. Real strength isn't throwing the first punch. It's knowing when not to. It's walking away when your pride is screaming to stay and fight. It's about protecting your future, not just your reputation in front of your mates. Because in real life, winning the fight may mean losing everything. Don't be the guy that finds that out too late. That takes me to my final point. You have to be mentally prepared to escalate a situation for your own safety. And if you're not, then you are always far better off trying to negotiate your way out of violence. Try to appease and try to de-escalate the situation. Do as much as you can to avoid it. Thanks for watching.